In this lecture, we will be examining the concept of biodiversity and looking at the benefits of maintaining a diverse biological community. Biodiversity, the variety of living things, also makes the world a more beautiful and exciting place to live. Three kinds of biodiversity are essential to preserve ecological systems and functions. One, genetic diversity is a measure of the variety of versions of the same genes within individual species. Two, species diversity describes the number of different kinds of organisms within individual communities or ecosystems. And three, ecological diversity means the richness and complexity of a biological community, including the number of niches, trophic levels, and ecological processes that capture energy, sustain food webs, and recycle materials within this system. Insects and other invertebrates make up more than half of all known species. Many, like this blue morpho butterfly, are beautiful as well as ecologically important. Most of the world's biodiversity concentrations are near the equator, especially tropical rainforests and coral reefs. Of all the world's species, only 10 to 15% live in North America and Europe. Many of the organisms in megadiversity countries have never been studied by scientists. The Malaysian Peninsula, for example, has over 8,000 species of flowering plants, while Britain, with an area twice as large, has only 1,400 species. There may be more botanists in Britain than there are species of higher plants. South America, on the other hand, has fewer than 100 botanists to study perhaps 200,000 species of plants. Areas isolated by water, deserts, or mountains can also have high concentrations of unique species and biodiversity. Madagascar, New Zealand, South Africa, and California are all mid-latitude areas isolated by barriers that prevent mixing with biological communities from other regions and produce rich, unusual collections of species. Biodiversity hotspots, identified by Conservation International, tend to be in tropical or Mediterranean climates and on islands, coastlines, or mountains where many habitats exist and physical barriers encourage speciation. Numbers represent estimated endemic, locally unique, species in each area. What are the benefits of biodiversity? Oftentimes, the benefit can seem obscure, and we do not fully appreciate the benefit until it disappears. For example, the disappearance of the wolf through direct human intervention efforts caused unexpected and severe ecological changes to Yellowstone National Park. Loss of this apex predator resulted in overpopulation of elk, overgrazing of trees, and changes in the flow of rivers and streams within the park. Who would have thought that killing wolves could change the location of an entire river system? But each ecosystem has evolved based on the plants and animals that live there, and removal of a single species can have dramatic and profound effects on an ecosystem. Even seemingly obscure and insignificant organisms can often play a critical role in an ecosystem or be the source of an important drug. One of the most significant reasons to care about biodiversity is because it provides both important food and medicinal resources, while plant species make up important contributions to human food supplies. Genetic materials from wild plants have been used to improve domestic crops. Noted tropical ecologist Norman Myers estimates that as many as 80,000 edible wild plant species could be utilized by humans. Villagers in Indonesia, for instance, are thought to use some 4,000 native plants and animal species for food, medicine, and other products. Few of these species have been explored for possible domestication or more widespread cultivation. Wild bees, moths, bats, and other organisms provide pollination for most of the world's crops. Without these, we would have little agriculture in much of the world. Pharmaceutical products, derived from developing world plants, animals, and microbes, have a value of more than $30 billion per year, according to the United Nations Development Program. High diversity may help biological communities withstand environmental stress better and recover more quickly than those with fewer species. As we discussed in Chapter 3, this is called resilience. A reason may be that in a diverse community, some species survive disturbance, so ecological functions are maintained. Because we don't fully understand the complex interrelationships among organisms, we often are surprised and dismayed at the effects of removing seemingly insignificant members of biological communities. For instance, it is estimated that 95% of the potential pests and disease-carrying organisms in the world are controlled by natural predators and competitors. Maintaining biodiversity can be essential for pest control and other ecological functions. Nature appreciation is also economically important and is another reason to be concerned about biodiversity. The United States Fish and Wildlife Service estimates that Americans spend $104 billion every year on wildlife-related recreation. This is 25% more than the $81 billion spent each year on new automobiles. Often recreation is worth even more than the resources that can be extracted from an area. Fishing, hunting, camping, hiking, and other nature-based activities also have cultural value. These activities provide exercise, and contact with nature can be emotionally restorative. In many cultures, nature carries spiritual connotations, and observing and protecting nature has religious or moral significance. For many people, just the idea that wildlife exists has value. This idea is termed existence value. Even if they will never see a tiger or a blue whale, many find it gratifying to know that they exist.